And as I type my little message in, just please allow yourself to just come into yourself, come into your breathing, settle in, and we'll get started in a minute. Hello. Uh, so I'm not sure how to say it. Sage, um, welcome. I'm just typing in my message and we'll get started. Okay, so coming into being, you know, times, it's not that times are rough. We'd like to say that, but we are kind of all over the place and nothing is really settling in. So part of the reason for providing this space for people is to, hey Michelle, is to just take that time for ourselves to really connect in, to just settle into ourselves and into our beings and just take that time because things get very busy, things get all over the place so easily and nothing is very settled right now. So it's even more important to take that time for ourselves. So providing you that space. Hey Kayla, good to see you all. So first thing, just let yourself take some breaths, settle in. Maybe inhale through the mouth and exhale, kind of longer exhale in through the nose. Sorry, inhale in through the nose and take a longer exhale through the mouth. And maybe even twice the length of the inhale. And just allowing yourself to, as you breathe out, just blowing all your stress, all your worries, anything that's going on, anything that's just floating around you that's not right here, right now, not 2 minutes ago, but right now. Just let it all out and settle into whatever you're sitting. And if you're standing, standing. If you're lying down, lying down. Let yourself come into that. Let yourself connect in. And maybe there's a little stress, so you might notice that your breathing is a little higher up. When we're stressed, we tend to be pulled up, and so the breathing is going to take place just like at the top of the lungs, but that's really not where the breathing happens. So if you're finding yourself doing that, you can put your, I can't see my hands, but you can put your hands at your side at the lower ribs and just feel, focus in on those lower ribs. And as you breathe, having them expand, so pushing against your hands and pushing in or contracting in. Bringing just letting yourself settle down so that your energy just kind of comes down. A lot of times we pull forward, especially if we're on the computer or things like that. We tend to like throw ourselves out there, and just giving yourself that time to just settle back in. Sometimes it's I've said this before, but imagine yourself just kind of putting your head back on, you're lying on your back and putting your head down on a pillow. And you can bring your awareness to the back of your head, top of your head, back of your head, the back of your neck. That will help to pull the energy back down, get you more centered in yourself. And then move your awareness down your neck, and then slowly just move it down the spine, between your shoulder blades. And then about waist level. and lower abdomen, like the sacrum area, sacrum to tailbone area. And see if you could just kind of keep yourself anchored down there. That's a really important place to kind of bring our awareness down if we're stressed, if we have anxiety, is to just bring that awareness down to that sacrum tailbone area. And likely what's going to happen is you're going to get down there with your awareness, and then it's going to pop right back up in your head, or probably even higher. And so you just kind of keep coming back to that lower spine area, and even all the way down to your feet as well. And if you can, kind of feel both areas without having a blank space in between. In other words, having a sense of your whole body, but really kind of focusing on those areas, and wiggle your toes to kind of bring yourself down there to really feel that. And feel that with your awareness, with your awareness being there. Okay, already that's much more settled now. Very good. And letting yourself come into that place of just being. It seems really obvious, but with all, and I'm going to call them distractions that we have that pull us away from just being. I mean, simply put, cell phones. Bang. We're always having these devices here, always pulling ourselves out. Some people are really sensitive and will notice this, but this is something that impacts everybody. There's a frequency, vibrational level of cell phones, of that technology, of computers, of all that kind of stuff, which is very counter to being settled, to being just calm, present, and whenever you can, kind of leave your cell phone to the side and go about and do what you need to do. Like for preparing your meals, you don't need to have your cell phone in the kitchen unless there's an emergency phone call that you know is going to come in while you're cooking. Leave it in another room. Let yourself take that break, that frequency, that energy, that vibrational break, so that you can find that alignment with yourself, to come into something that's a little bit more organic for yourself. And easy thing to do with that is just come right into your chest. And now that everybody's kind of better pulled down, you can come into your chest, focusing on your breathing. Hey, Laria, just noticed you're popped in there. And Ursula, welcome, Ursula. So coming into the breath. So those just joining us now, just take a couple deep breaths. Let yourself settle into wherever you are. You're sitting. Really feel what you're sitting on. And even if whoever's just focusing on their breath, you can do this too at the same time. Letting yourself kind of settle in there. Feel that contact with what you're sitting on. And notice your breath. Just very calm, very slow. Slowing it down if you can. So the slowing it down by taking a breath in, and just let's say it's a 4 count, whatever, a 4 count, then maybe holding it for 1 or 2, and then exhaling for an 8 count. So double the length of the inhale. Part of the reason for that is that it balances out that part of the system that regulates rest, relaxation. The exhale does that. So when you have a longer exhale than inhale, that will help to just tone that. I think it's the parasympathetic, but I always get those mixed up. So the parasympathetic nervous system, the one that deals with the rest and digestion and slowing down, will get fortified, will get toned on the exhale. Let yourself feel your chest expand with the air coming into the lungs and contract as the air moves out of the lungs. And we'll kind of take it a little slowly today and really focus on just being in that breath and just being aware of your body, really noticing, if you want, you can notice like skin level or just being in that breath, feeling that chest, having a sense of the air around you, and see if you can, as we breathe in and out, have that sense that as you expand, it's sort of like the space around you is contracting away from you to make room for you. And as you breathe out, you contract, you come in, and the air around you is expanding to stay in connection with you. See if you can have a sense of that. It's that interplay between you and the air in your environment. It's always happening. And just noticing how you just can allow yourself to relax even more deeply. That awareness on your breath, on that movement of your body with the in and out, and then having a sense of that, again, that interplay with the atmosphere, the air, the atmosphere. Having a sense of that the atmosphere, like if you're sitting in a room or in a car or whatever, and even if you're in an outdoor space, and so it's goes further out, goes really far out, but the whole atmosphere of the room or the car that you're sitting in, the immediate space around you, staying connected with you by following your movement, following that expansion and that contraction. And just kind of clearing up little blips of heat that are coming up. That's fine. That's why we're in the space. And if you can have a sense of that, if you kind of feel it, even ever so slightly, you might kind of catch a glimpse of that. that kind of interplay, feel free to comment in. There we go. Sometimes it's just a little hard to let go of what we've got going on in our minds if we've been focused on things for like all day long and or we're looking ahead that's got a busy day ahead to kind of switch out of that, come into that moment. If you can, then what happens is that you really kind of reset yourself, get really clear. Even if you do this for only 5 minutes, and then you're all centered in yourself, you're all kind of all there, not in 50 directions. You're all here, all present with yourself right here, right now, and ready to step fully, 100% you, fully into what's next for you. Your day, your evening, the afternoon. Yeah, now we're kind of hitting a nice kind of lot smoother flow there of this being, state of being. Very simple. Very simple, and yet it can be so challenging to get there, can it? Yeah. Kind of starting to get close to that coasting zone for those of you who might notice that. All of a sudden it just feels like, you're kind of getting to that pace, that space, that just where it just feels like you're just floating, just moving along. We're almost there. Everybody's kind of slowing down very nicely from where you started. It's not about somebody else doing it better or being more in that state of being than you are. It's about where you started and where you are now. So, not referencing yourself to someone else, but referencing yourself to yourself. Where did you start? Where are you now? We're talking about that on Monday. Somebody brought up that self referencing. It kind of takes that edge out of competition. You're competing against yourself to get yourself more aligned to where you need to be for yourself relative to where you were, where you feel you can be, and you're not fighting with anybody. You're just looking to improve yourself. And then on the next exhale, just exhale completely out of the air completely out of your lungs, like just kind of squeeze like you're forcing all the air out. And then the in breath will automatically come back in just to do a little reset and end the cycle and start another one. And then coming back into the breath. Kind of give you a new starting point when you do that. It's like taking a nice big deep big sigh, just kind of Kind of clears out the air, clears out the mind, and then gives you a fresh start point. You can try that when you're in the middle of doing something for work or whatever, kids, whatever, and you're feeling a little stuck. Just take a deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. Or you can exhale out completely, let the air come back in. One of the difference with that is that with for people with anxiety, you want to do exhale all the way out. Exhale all your breath all the way out, squeeze it out, and then the breath will automatically kick back in. So that gets you out of this. Well, it's the, okay, if I'm saying it, if I'm remembering correctly, it's the sympathetic nervous system that's fight or flight. The part of the nervous system that's fight or flight, if I have it correctly, it's the sympathetic nervous system. So when you exhale out, it's like pushing it down. It's like calming it down. I feel like there's somebody here that keeps popping up. There's some agitation, mental agitation that keeps popping up. So that's okay. When you if you notice that for yourself, just kind of take a deep breath in, hold it, and then exhale out completely. Kind of refresh yourself. And you can do that, there's a little bit of retraining ourselves to step out of these automations that we have, automatically doing something. And man, the mind, that's a really strong automation thing here that just keeps going. So it's like when you catch yourself, take a deep breath, hold it, and then exhale. It's like a little bit of retraining that we have to do for ourselves sometimes. And don't beat yourself up if you are having a hard time getting out of that mental zone. It's like either it's work or something's come up for this one person. There's just this thing in the back of your head that just won't shut up, basically. What and so that's creating a bit of tension for you, um, internally, even energetically, and that creates that inability to fully relax. And even if it's just for one breath, let's say you're in the middle of an emergency, just for one breath to just be able to like clear it out so that you let go of your stress, you come into alignment with yourself. Hey, Erica. And then you can really deal even more appropriately for that in that emergency, or be even more present for that person who really needs you to be present. So just come on in and focus in on your breath, on your breathing, Erica. And let me reorient people to just feeling their body, what we were doing earlier, having a sense of really being inside your body, coming into your body. And so if you're looking at something, like feeling like you're really inside looking through these eyes, instead of being pulled out. And it might feel like you're pulling yourself all the way back, like your head is moving backwards because your awareness has to move further back than Yeah, there we go. That's better for that one person's having a hard time with just that, whatever it was in the brain, mental stuff going on in your back. So that actually helped to shift you more into your alignment. There's still some stuff. It's like in the back, the backside. So what that's showing to me is that there's a pattern there of just being okay. I can kind of get relaxed here. I have this thing that I need to focus on. I'll just put it on the back burner. But there is a part of your mind that is always kind of latched onto it because that's how the mind operates. If there's something that hasn't closed out, it's going to keep at it. And that's just a quite literal physiological response. Uh, so there's, for example, there's a musical example that I can give you. It's Stephen Halpern. He was back in the 80s, has very nice kind of real new age music. But what's interesting about his music, and he realized this maybe later, not when he was immediately started to play that way, but realized that that was the impact on people was because there's an up note, and we expect a certain thing to happen, so there's like a little downturn to come to completion, and it doesn't. So it can be very unsettling because we want things to come to completion. And then when it doesn't, there's a part of us that's always kind of turning it over. Da, 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 da. And so learning to just, okay, that's not complete. We'll just put it aside for now. And sometimes just telling ourselves that can be helpful. Uh, so back for that, in the back of your mind, there's still this program running. It's like, all right, let's take it out of the back of the mind and let's just stick it out. Leave it aside. Put it on the clipboard. We'll get back to it later and just putting it aside. Yeah, that's kind of opening up that space there. Okay, let's take another nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And then again, exhale out completely until your breath just kicks in by itself, and come back and noticing your breath, noticing where you're sitting, being aware of what's around you in your environment, and really pulling into your body. So maybe noticing the distance between where you are and the objects around you from that point of reference of yourself, looking at those and being pulled in. Yeah, Kayla put in a little comment. Alex came up to me to talk about how Fran needs to read after I said she could play for 30 minutes before we start school after this. So that was me. Well, you weren't the only one. Put it that way. Um, so if that felt like you, then that's good. But there's someone else on. I feel like I'm getting specific images of somebody, so that I happen to know, or happen to know what they look like. But that certainly could apply to somebody else in the group because this is what happens in these group settings: is that one person will pop up with that, but then it registers for other people because they're kind of doing it, but maybe not as intensely, or okay, yeah, that kind of cleared up the air more for, and it just feels so good to once you get through all that going on, when we're shifting out of being an active and doing and focusing and da 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 that's going on internally with whatever we're doing. Takes a while to get through that, to resettle that, to come down, that keeps popping up and then we keep coming down, pop out and we keep coming back down. Eventually, you know, kind of being able to settle in. So let yourself kind of feel this for a moment. Let's really soak that in. Breathe into that quieter mode that we've gotten to here. Let's take advantage of that before we get up and run off to the next thing. Yeah. Now we're almost at chilling at the beach or in that hammock. Not quite, but pretty close to there. It's not quite the hammock. This hammock is a little even deeper than the chilling at the beach. We're almost at chilling at the beach. Okay, very good, very nice. And it's interesting because this is kind of coming up right now. Deeper stay relaxed. There's at least one person in the group, but could be more. But this all of a sudden, reaching this state, this deeper relaxed state, and kind of all of a sudden it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And little disorientation, maybe confusion, but kind of disorientation. Like all of a sudden it's like, where was I? What was I focused on? What was I supposed to be doing? Because we get so used to always having that little go 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 thing on, and being able to like really get into that place where we disconnect and we're just in that presence state of being. We're much deeper than normal. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what am I supposed to be doing here? And that, so a little confusion. So if you're noticing, or disorientation, confusion, depends how it feels. If you're noticing that for yourself, just take a deep breath in, just like, no, we'll be fine. We'll know exactly what to do when it's time to step forward again. So we'll just finish it off here. Really come into, feel yourself just coming into that deep alignment with yourself, almost like you're pulling all the way into your center. There we go. Nice. Yeah. And knowing that you can trust yourself. It's not your mind that has it for you. It's your being. Very good. Yeah, very nice. Nice finish there. All right. Taking a nice deep breath in, holding it, exhaling it out. Now you're ready to move on to whatever's next for you. So there we go. Uh, so nice little crowd I've got. As always, I have my two little things. I'm kind of like looking in different levels here, so it kind of looks like I'm looking up, but um, for the one that's lower and vice versa. Any thoughts, anything that's popping up to bring up for anybody on either side? Yeah, you're welcome, Ursula. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully that got you nice and chilled. And I'm not sure what time of day it is for you over there. I feel like it must be like early morning or something on the other side of the world there. But so hopefully get you recentered and into whatever's next for you. Kayla, such a peaceful space. Thank you. Good. Now you're ready for school. School with the kids. So that should be good. It'll be good for everybody. You know, if you think about teachers and they've got so much to do, Kayla's just homeschooling her kids, but when you think about that, I mean, there's a lot you got to think of and be aware of and be present for. And so taking that time to just come into that deeper connection. So we take a half an hour here, you know, a little bit more, 40 minutes. But even doing that for five minutes, very relaxed now, 7:38 a.m. Okay, well, you're just ready to go, you know, and fully aligned, fully present with yourself. So it's going to be a good day for you. But even if we can take just 5 minutes to just sit, get real centered in ourselves, coming into that awareness of our breath, you know, feeling yourself in the space around you and just taking a minute to quiet everything out of your mind and just look and connect with the space around you, not doing anything. Even a minute, you know, it's a nice little turnaround. Okay, well, not another adventure for coming into being. So thank you all for stopping by, and we'll be back next Wednesday, same time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. Um, I guess that'll be about 7 p.m. Australia time and 7 p.m. Central European time. Wait, are you guys on? That doesn't make sense in terms of Australia. Well, anyways, 7 p.m. Central European time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I better leave it at that because I don't know the rest. All right, take care, everybody, and thanks for stopping by.